So the thing is that I got somewhere I got before there is no AC in my room, so you have to manage it with the same whatsoever you know what I can afford. So I do decided to start this Python series. As you can see, it is on the list of. This is also listed here that I'm gonna start Python like, from today onwards. So we're gonna work on this Python thing and we'll learn what exactly this Python is and hopefully we'll try to have some interview questions also if possible at the end of the day. Before that we'll try to have all those stuff with practice, right? Definitely, you will not be able to see those practice sessions whatsoever I will perform on my laptop. So you can reach out for that thing on my back recording if possible. I will share. So whatsoever it is, with Python actually starts with. It is exactly the syllabus which is given for O level. However, we'll try to understand Python of working on a development level so that in future we can also work on this Python and like deploying projects and all, right. We're gonna start it with the introduction to programming. No, we are not going to start at the basic part which is flowchart and all. We'll start it from like should I think it should not be. These are some that will cover in future, but for this time we have to start with what exactly the Python is in initial first, the very first thing, right? Which is in chapter number 2 we're gonna start it from. So yeah, it is. So it is introduction to Python, which is so that Python is a very powerful language. It's a powerful language in terms of development. Most of the applications and the machine learning work are being done in Python. It is a high-level interpreted and interactive, along with the object-oriented programming, scripting language, right? One more thing we have to think it is a scripting language. It was designed to be easily readable. It uses English keywords frequently, whereas the other languages with punctuations, right, such as printf, scanf, it, it is easier than that. Now we'll go for the features of Python language. Python language is interpreted, as we can share. The term interpreted is basically line by line. So it said that it means that this programming are processed at the runtime by the interpreter, and you do not need to compile your program before executing, right? Interpreted languages run directly from source code to human generated, whereas the program written in the compiled languages and C++, we are required to like first compile the program, then we are like run the program, right? So there is no such object file being created, and Python consists as an interpreted language because Python program are executed by the interpreter itself. Next it says that the Python is interactive. This means that you can actually work with the Python prompt and interact with interpreter directly to execute your programs and get output. Let me just check it quietly. If it is possible for you to get through my things, or if it is not, like there is also possibilities that whatsoever I'm saying is high, like you're not being recorded due to the white disturbance or the noise. right? I think, yeah, there is no such other account. So I'm required to add another account and okay. So yeah, exactly what we are supposed to do is there is no such options available. So we're gonna do one thing which is right. So I'll keep it in sleep mode and we'll start our execution for the things combination. This says that Python is interactive, which means that you can actually work with the Python prompt and interact with the interpreter directly to execute your program. Rather than going to the theory part, I would love to go with execution part so that we can have some recall and some, some tasks, some things in the technical terms, right? Which is actually meant. So the very first question or the very first thing that is actually the very first thing is says that we are going to know what exactly that identifier are. Identifier is a unique name that enables you, any us, to identify something. Something identifiers are used to label variables. Variables are actually those names that where we try to where we give input, right? Class is object or module. They begin with a language, either a letter or underscore, or they can contain letter or underscore or digit. This implies that single identifier cannot contain any language cannot contain any space. They cannot they cannot have punctuation mark. Along with that, along with we can say that Python is a case-sensitive language, whereas if we write age in capital letter and at the same time age is smaller letter, as an example is given here. Uh, these two are the different. If we write a capital A then G E in small, these three variables with the same name are actually different identifier in the Python. Same legal identifier, X is in a small and age in the a small letter mark to a total mark. Right? And these are the some name of the identifier. So we can say that variables are the example of identifier. Identifiers are name given to identify something, right? Okay. So here we go with another thing which is keywords in Python. And now what we will say that keywords are designed at the time of designing a language. Some words are reserved to do specific tasks, as we say taking input. And when we were working on C, when we were learning our first language C or Python, the very first thing we write as an input or print off or scan off or has include. So these all the words, right? These all the key words are known as the keywords or the reserved words, and they are called as keyword. On the reserved words, they have a specific task. They are in compiler and in the language, right? So it says that keywords cannot be used in the variable name. In Python, there are case sensitivity, right? As we know, there is actually a case sensitivity. Is we say that input a small letter is a keyword. At the same time, we can use capital letter of input as another form, another function made by us, right? User defined function. So there is a table. It says that this is a table. So table 3.3. It is a table 3.3 has a list of Python languages keyboard, and we'll try to have these keywords. We'll try to fetch all these keywords by our language itself in the Python itself. So we'll try to code. We'll write some code in the terminal and we'll get the exact keyword list from Python itself, Python language itself, right? So we'll find here as a terminal, it is the very first thing, and we'll will increase its size so that everyone can see there. If it is feasible for you to see, just try to have this thing here, right? I'm not going to, I'm okay. So I think it will be better for me to record everything out there. uh, just one request, ignore the background noise, right, if possible. So we're gonna fetch python 3 keywords, right? So we're gonna fetch here the keywords. So we'll write in the keywords in Python, right? Python 3, right? So we have to write as an import, that is a module, import keyword. Okay, so keyword is a module and we have to import it. So we did import keywords, and we are supposed to print these keywords, right? So we will print this keyword dot kw list, keyword list, right? And when we'll hit the enter, we get all those keywords which are actually as in false, none, true, PG partial, peg partial, and as, assured, asynchronous, await, break, clash, continue, definition, delete, elif, else, except, finally, or for, from, or global, if, import, in, is, lambda, non-local, not, pass, raise, return, try, while, with, and if. These are some keywords. These are actually the keywords of Python 3 language, and we get at how to get these Python keywords from your side. You can write it as an you can write it in the very first line, import keyword, and then you have to write print keyword, which is a module that we have imported just now, and dot we use to identify or fetch, and kew list, right? Kew is a keyword list. It must be a function or that returns all the keywords out there, or must be a list there in module. Whatsoever it is, we are fetching it out, right, from that module. So I hope you got this keyword list, how to create this keyword list. And now we're gonna stop the recording, right? So now next is difference between keywords and identifiers. We just gain information about what exactly the definition is identifier, and what exactly the definition of examples are keywords, right? So there is also like we find some confusions. We will get some confused what exactly the difference between identifiers and the keywords. These two are actually somewhere working, like in our Python we are using them for some tasks. So it is that keywords are the words that are used by Python itself or Python interpreter to recognize the structure of the program, right? And if you say that as these words, which are keywords, are used for have the specific meanings for the interpreter, and they cannot use for any other purpose. Like if we write as in print, and we print has a specific meaning, if it's a specific definition in the compiler in the Python interpreter, and if we will create the print and will define it, we will try to use it for ourselves, it will return as an error, because if we will make this print as an user defined, and we'll start working print as an of our own world, whatsoever the function we have defined out there. So we will what the function will use for print that output, right? So there are some specific reason, that's why some the words are being reserved in the Python interpreter itself. So it says that they cannot be used for any other purposes, and so that keywords are reserved, they are built-in. And when we try to know what exactly identifier is a unique name that enables us, the user, to identify something. Identifier was used to label verification function classes, object modules. They begin with either a letter or underscore. They can contain letter, underscore, or digit, but they cannot contain any punctuation mark. They are user defined. So we can define an identifier as an identifier, a user-defined name given to the part of a program, namely variable, the object of function, etc. Now we have a word which is named as literal. Now we will try to know what exactly this word holds the meaning, and what exactly the word is, or what exactly their function in the program is, right? So literal can be defined as a data which is given in a variable or constant. For example, 7 minus 2.9 minus 2.9 xyz hello or literal. So it says that literal can be defined as a data given to it says literal can be defined as a data, so data which is given in a variable or constant. So literal is actually, let's say an example, we'll try to write it as an example, right? So let's say we write as here x is equals to 90, right? So this 90, so this 90 will be called as literal, right? Okay. So it says that, for example, 7 minus 2.9 xyz hello are literal. Literals are fixed numeric or non-numeric values. Python supports the following literal. So it actually supports some literal. It says that string literal strings are the only literal sequence type of contains that sequence of characters. However, characters are not a type. So string are the lowest level primitive of character storage and manipulation. String literals are formed by enclosing text in a single or double quotation, right? So, like string, as we know that there are various types of data in any language, an string, integer, and set, tuple, blah blah blah. So, okay, so this is actually like it says that literal different types of literal, and here we are talking about string literal. String literal are all those input data that be taken in the form of uh, in under in double quotation or single quotation mark, and which tone which is actually which an interpreter can think it knows it as a string part, right? A string letter can also span multiple lines. It also be enclosed in a matching group of three single or double quotations, and generally referred as a triple quotation string, right? Okay. So, like you basically, if we want to take an string and then in form of input, we can write it in XY, let's say V. It is if we'll try to put in a V, it will Y is in V. Let's say we again and taken an input, right? And we've taken it in a double equator bar. We are human, right? This is another part, this is another input, and now the most important part is that this w is equals to, like y is equals to v, is not equals to the variable which has name as in v, right? So we'll take variable v and we get that output as in v are human. At the same time, if we'll try to write as in a v x, right, xy as in we'll try to take a triple string with the multiple line without that triple input. It will give an error, like let's say e, and we'll take, it gives an syntax error, as we can see that string dstd IN error line number one steady input line number one में error है and there's error is syntax error it is EOL while scanning the string electron, right? So if we'll try to if you want to give input in multiple like more than one line, we are supposed to use three is like three is these three quotations, either double quotation or single quotation. Now we'll write it IKML, and now we'll write it, we enclose it with the same type of quotation mark. And now if we'll put XY, as in we get then the same output, right? So this is actually we call as in taking input in the multiple line input, multiple line string input, right? String literal input, right? I said that next is numeric literal, and numeric literal is Python support three types of numeric literal. So there are three types of digit inputs also supported by the Python, which is the very first is integer, then second one is float, and the third one is a complex. Complex is actually imaginary numbers or numbers that contains like I or J out there, and uh, like and integer as having a whole number, and those float integer float literal are actually digits with the decimal, right? So these are actually the inputs of things, right? Okay, so next is we have completed this part, and I'm thinking to close this fan because this is actually quite disturbing. But let's try what exactly the output is, right? And for after 3 p.m., we'll we'll try to close this fan also so that we can have this learning and okay, so now I'm going to stop this because okay. So we'll try to resume this our learning after 3 p.m. Till now, thank you so much for joining me, and bye bye.